Hey guys, welcome back to Genealogy and Chronology. Today we are back to Middle Earth and we will be discussing about the genealogy of all the known relationships of elves, half-elves and men from J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium. This video will also feature important characters from Lord of the Rings trilogy. In case you want to purchase PDF copy of this chart, please use the link in the description of this video. Most of Tolkien's fans are familiar with only three tales of elves and men, namely of Beren and Luthien, Tuor and Idril, and lastly, the famous tale of Aragorn and Arwen. But did you know that there were actually 9 such tales? In this video, I will go through all of them. I will be going over these tales in chronological order, starting with the oldest and ending with the latest. Years of the Sun, 380s. The Tale of Andreth and Egnor. Egnor was one of the sons of Finarfin, a prince of the Noldor, one of the 3 groups of elves who undertook the great journey from Valinor to Middle-earth. He was a noble and valiant warrior. Andreth, on the other hand, was a wise and noble mortal woman of the House of Beor, one of the 3 houses of the Edain, the race of men that allied with the elves against the forces of Morgoth. They fell in love despite the challenges posed by the differences in their nature. Egnor was an immortal elf, while Andreth was a mortal destined to live a much shorter life. Their relationship faced the inevitable hardship of mortality and immortality, which Egnor keenly understood. Andreth was troubled by the fate of men, who were doomed to live a brief life filled with struggles and sufferings. Egnor too was tormented by the knowledge that Andreth would grow old and die, leaving him to endure the pain of her loss. Their love story is characterized by the bittersweet knowledge that their bond was destined for tragedy. Egnor was filled with sorrow and foreboding, knowing that he would outlive Andreth by many ages. Egnor perished in Dagor Bragola along with his brother in Years of the Sun 455. Andreth too passed away in the same year because of her old age. Years of the Sun 465. The Tale of Beren and Luthien. Beren, a mortal from the House of Beor, and Luthien, elven princess of Doriath, fell in love in 465 of the Years of the Sun. They embarked on a perilous quest to retrieve a Silmaril, a gem from Morgoth's crown. Guided by Luthien's enchanting powers and Beren's courage, they faced their trials and defied formidable foes, even outwitting the dreadful wolf Karchorath. Eventually they succeeded, but Beren lost a hand in the process. Their love story, defying the odds, led to Beren and Luthien's brief return from the dead. It is a poignant tale of love and sacrifice, symbolizing the enduring power of love in a world of elves, men and myth. Years of the Sun 490. The Tale of Turin Thurambar and Finduilas. Turin, a mortal from the House of Hedor, and Finduilas, elven princess of Nargothrond, shared a brief and ill-fated love. Turin came to Nargothrond in 490 of the Years of the Sun, and soon Finduilas fell in love with Turin despite being betrothed to Gwyndor. Their love was overshadowed by the treachery of Gwyndor, leading to a chain of events that ultimately led to Finduilas' death. Finduilas was captured by Morgoth's forces, and her death marked the beginning of Turin's descent into deeper tragedy. Her memory haunted Turin throughout his life as he sought a destiny filled with sorrow and pain. The tale of Turin and Finduilas is a touching narrative of love, loss, and the inescapable shadow of doom in Tolkien's Legendarium. Years of the Sun 495. The Tale of Tuor and Idril. Tuor, a mortal from the House of Hedor and first cousin of Turin, fell in love with Idril, elven princess of Gondolin, the hidden city. Guided by Ulmo, Tuor had reached Gondolin, and there Tuor and Idril were wedded. Despite Idril's father, Turgon, opposing their union, their love endured. When Gondolin fell to Morgoth's forces, Idril and Tuor, along with their son Eärendil, escaped to Havens of Sirion. Later, Idril and Tuor would journey to Aman. Years of the Sun 497. The Tale of Dior and Nimloth. Dior was a half-elf, born to Beren and Luthien. Following the death of his grandfather, Dior became king of Doriath He also inherited the Silmaril after the death of Luthien. Dior married Nimloth, who was his second cousin once removed. Dior and Nimloth were blessed with twin sons, Alured and Alurin, and also a daughter named Elwing. Unfortunately, during the sack of Doriath by the sons of Fëanor, Dior and Nimloth were slain, whereas the fate of the twin brothers is known to none. Only Elwing survived the sack of Doriath, as she was saved by some survivors. Years of the Sun 525. The Tale of Elwing and Eärendil. Elwing was a half-elf, the daughter of Dior, the son of Beren and Luthien. Her ancestry was marked by both the noble line of the Edain and the Eldar, making her one of the most distinguished figures in the elven history of Middle-earth. Eärendil, also an half-elf, was born out of the union of Tuor, an Edain lord, and Idril, an elven princess. Both Elwing and Eärendil were heirs to the respective realms of Doriath and Gondolin, which were sacked. Elwing and Eärendil sought for refuge in the heavens of Sirion, where they met each other and soon married in 525 of the Years of the Sun. They were blessed with twins Elros and Elrond. Heavens of Sirion was also sacked by sons of Fëanor after they found out that the Silmaril was with Elwing, which led to Elwing going out at sea to seek for Eärendil. Following the conclusion of War of Wrath, Eärendil was granted the status of a star, shining in the heavens as the herald of hope and as a reminder of the victory over the darkness. Elwing was also reunited with him. Second Age 1700s. The Tale of Elrond and Celebrian. Elrond loved Celebrian, who was his first cousin once removed. They met sometime during the middle of the Second Age. Elrond would marry Celebrian in 109 of Third Age, and they were blessed with 3 children, twins Eladan and Elrohir and Arwen. Unfortunately, Celebrian was briefly captured by orcs in 2509 of Third Age, and the orcs tormented her. This caused Celebrian to sail west in 2510 of Third Age in order to heal completely. Third Age 1980s. The Tale of Imrazor and Mithrelas. Imrazor was the prince of Belfalas, descendant of Adrahel I. He belonged to the noble Númenórean house of Belfalas, who were kin to High King Elendil. According to legend, he is said to have wedded the Sylvan elf maid Mithrelas, who was companion of Nimrodel. Nimrodel loved Amroth, who was king of Lorien, and he loved her too. After the Balrog was awakened in Moria in 1980 of Third Age, they both traveled south to leave for Aman. Mithrelas accompanied Nimrodel. Unfortunately, Amroth and Nimrodel got separated in 1981 of Third Age. Amroth perished in the sea, and no tale tells us of what happened to Nimrodel. During the journey of Nimrodel to south, Mithrelas, who was accompanying Nimrodel, lost her way and was found by Imrazor, who later married her. Imrazor and Mithrelas were blessed with a son named Galador, who would become the first prince of Dol Amroth. They also had a daughter named Gimlith. Third Age 2952. The Tale of Arwen Undomiel and Aragorn. Arwen was Elrond's daughter. Aragorn was a descendant of Arwen's uncle Elros, born after many generations of kings of Númenor, lords of Andúnie, kings of Arnor and Gondor, and lastly the chieftains of Dúnedain. Aragorn became king following the defeat of Sauron and was crowned as the first king of the reunited kingdom. Aragorn and Arwen loved each other, and they both got married after the coronation of Aragorn. Arwen, who was a half-elf, gave up her immortality and lived with Aragorn until his death. Following the death of Aragorn, Arwen gave up her life in the woods of Lothlorien. There you have it, a glimpse into various tales of J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations of the fantastical realms of literature and fantasy. If you like my work, consider supporting me on Patreon, or you can buy me a coffee by scanning this QR code. If you want to purchase PDF copy of this chart, please use the link in the description. Please like the video and share it with your Tolkien friends and family. Until next time, happy adventuring. Thank you.